What's going on YouTube? Appreciate y'all tuning into the channel. It's your boy e.dabeast. For today's video topic, we're going to be talking about how to invest as a beginner. Now, the first thing that you want to do when investing as a beginner is you want to do your research. I know, pretty boring. You're like, I gotta look up these companies. I gotta do this research. I know it's pretty boring, but it's very, very necessary because you gotta be able to understand like what you're investing in. You don't want to just be investing in just something just because somebody told you it. You know, even if I tell you something like in terms of like an investment recommendation, I want you to verify it. I want you to look it up on your own. That's very, very important because you got to understand it for yourself. Because if you don't understand it for yourself, it's like, damn, like, what are you kind of like a headless chicken, just like walking around and stuff like that. And you don't want to be doing that, especially when it comes to your money, right? I believe you won't want to do that with your money, right? You want to be real careful, real understanding with your money. And with that said, like doing your research is, it could just be made easy. So you could just follow, like, everybody's on social media nowadays and stuff like that. You could just follow like pages that give out like news, and that's how you get your research. Like Twitter is a good source in terms of like finance and stuff like that. You can follow some Twitter pages that post on different topics. You could even follow the companies that you want to invest in. So that's like one thing I recommend. That's something I do personally. Like my social media, I'm following finance channel, paying attention to finance news. A good research tool is, Yahoo Finance. Get the Yahoo Finance app. That's a good one. Going on Google, of course, everybody Googling, going on Google Finance and stuff like that. The reason why you want to go on these types of sites because you'll be able to look at the balance sheet, the cash flow statements, um, all those kinds of things. Like when it comes to a company, when it comes to doing your research, you want to be able to understand all these different things um, while you're investing. And I'll put like a link to, let me know. I'll put a link in the bio, like to all these sources and stuff like that, where you could go look and stuff like that. Because I know researching could be intimidating, especially if you're just starting out. Like, oh, research this, like, crazy. But I'm gonna have that link down. Now, the next thing after you've done your research and stuff like that, proud of you. You've been taking the first step and done the research. The next thing is you don't want to invest in things you don't understand. If you don't understand it, you don't want to invest in it. So you want to take your time, do your research, and really, really take a deep dive into the company and stuff like that. Understand what they do, what's their value to the world. How is this gonna look in 5 to 10 years from now? You want to be able to think long term. Is this company gonna be around for 5 to 10 years? Or is this just like a short-term fling? They're only going to be here for like 1 year. You want to be able to keep the long-term picture in mind. You want to look at the performance of the company in the last 5 years. Has it been on an uptrend? Has it been on a downtrend? Has it been consolidating? Because those are the three phases. If you guys want me like to go like in depth on like a video in terms of the three phases, like the market conditions and stuff like that, I could do that. Just let me know down below in the comment section. Let me know. Hey, and if you got some value so far out of this video, comment down below the word value. Yeah, man, I really, really want to know if you guys are getting value out of this video. The main reason why also is like you don't want to invest in things you don't understand is because the market goes through ups and downs. So like when the market is down, if you understand that what you're invested in is valuable and that the world needs it, you're gonna be cooling. Like while everybody else is panicking, while everybody is selling their investments and stuff like that, you're gonna be cooling. You're gonna be like, oh man, I know this company is valuable. I did my research and stuff like that. I don't need to, right now I'm gonna buy more. I'm gonna buy more. I'm gonna buy more shares and stuff like that because you understand what you're investing in and stuff like that. And that's something I'm working on. Because for me, like, basically what I'll just do is just invest in things that I already use. That's gonna be another. So after you've done your research and you're making sure that you're not investing in things you don't understand, the next thing that you want to do is, as a beginner, or like what I highly recommend, is just starting out with index funds. So for example, what an index fund is, you're pretty much getting shares of all the different companies. Like, so for example, instead of investing in individual stock of like Google, Apple, Amazon, you could just buy an index fund that has all of them, and you'll be able to see like all the different components depending on the investment platform you use, whether it's Robinhood, whether it's Fidelity. You'll be able to see like the different sectors that's invested in. I personally use Fidelity and stuff like that, so I'll have something pulled up like in the video and stuff like that showing you. You'll be able to see like the different sectors, like the makeup of the index fund. So you pretty much um, invest in the whole market as a whole. And some good index fund recommendation is the VOO, Vanguard. I forget the other two words, what they represent, but it's the VOO ticker symbol. VTI is another one. And with VOO, it's like you're investing in the top 500 companies in the US. With VTI, you're pretty much just purchasing like it's pretty much literally does the same thing and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of preferences, just a matter of looking like at the returns and all that kind of stuff, like seeing, and that's comes like you guys got to do your research. You know, that's looking at the 5 years, looking at the charts. A good source for like looking at the charts is I have one up is I could put that also in the links down below. Just let me know, and I'll send it to you if you really want like a chart. Just let me know and I'll send it to you, man. So like what investing in an index fund does, it takes all the thinking out of it. You don't have to go, actually you have to do less research. You don't have to do as much research. For those of y'all that not try to do too much research and all that stuff, yeah, just invest in index funds. You're getting a little bit of everything. But the only con with that is you're not going to be able to make as much money as you would if your portfolio is not going to have as much appreciation. If you have only index funds, you don't mix it up with like we're having like individual stocks. If you're having individual stocks in your portfolio, for example, Nvidia, if you look at Nvidia's performance in the past 5 years, it's up 1,000%. It's up 1,000%. Like that's insane. That's that's insane. But imagine if you had that in your portfolio, and imagine if you had copped it, if you had copped some Nvidia and stuff like that. So it's a lot that goes into it. So that's just the only con, is you're going to be losing appreciation in your portfolio if you just invest in index fund. If you're looking to make the most money as possible, then you want to invest in individual stocks. The next and most important step is you only invest what you could afford to lose. Only invest what you could afford to lose. Only invest what you could afford to lose. I'm saying that multiple times because it's very, very, very important. The first indicator if you invested too much is if you can't sleep at night. The next one is if you constantly checking like, oh, is it up, is it down? That means you had invested way too much money. You want to be able to invest to a point where you could sleep at night, you sleep real good, you sleep like a baby. You know, it's not really of a worry to you. You want to be able to, and this is where diversification comes into a part, all that kind of stuff. There's different strategies, but just to stay on the main topic, is you want to invest what you could afford to lose. You know, that's very, very important. Where it goes, like you could pick a number. For example, for example, you like, I could only invest about $50 a month. So that's good. You know, $50 a month, you got your main source of income and stuff like that from your job, or you're a business owner or something like that. You got your main source of income, but you're like, all right, let me just invest this $50 a month, you know, or, you know, it doesn't have to be like a specific number. You could do a specific number, or you could do percentages. Like say 10% of my income, I'm gonna put it into the markets. So I make 90%. So for example, I make $900. I'm gonna put $100 into the stock market. You know, if it goes up and down, because you know mostly all the time the market, depending on your strategy, depending on how your portfolio is structured, it should be appreciating over time, and you shouldn't. Of course, like it's gonna be downturns in the markets, but that's when it's the best opportunity to buy, because you're gonna get that appreciation as the asset goes up in value. You know, so you want to buy assets when they're at discounts, and that's when it's at a down cycle, and you want to be able to ride that out, like the appreciation and stuff like that. Buy not any assets, but buy the right assets at a discount and be able to ride it out. This is very, very important because this is like a huge mistake that I made. I was like, I'm big on investing. Like I'm a huge investing guy. I'm like, I hate saving money, but like this is like one of like the biggest regrets like I probably have, is like, man, I should have just been investing like what I could afford to lose. So take it from me, man. You don't want to do that. You want to only invest in what you could afford to lose. You know, just it's for the best. It's for the better. I like once when I experienced it, I'm like, now I understand why people, all of them saying just do put 10% of your net worth in, or 10, 20, not all of it, but put like a certain percentage of it. But for me, I was like all in, like majority of my income was going towards investing. So you want to make sure you have a nice balance of investing and savings. But in terms of investing, only invest money that you could afford to lose. Yeah, man, that's very, very important. It's very last and final point is just get started, man. The earlier you start investing, the better. You know, you're giving your money more time to grow over time. And you know what the biggest, the eighth, I forget how the saying goes, but the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. You know, I definitely said it wrong. I don't know if that's how it goes, but it's compound interest. So, for example, I'll give you an example. So, for example, you hear like the most famous question: would you rather take a penny doubled or uh, a certain percentage of income all the time? Some people just pick the certain, or like $1 million right now. So people would pick $1 million, but the penny doubled is actually gonna make you money because the money is compounded over time. So that's what you want to think about with your investment. The earlier that you start, and it's never too late to start, you know. But the earlier you start, the more time that you have in the markets, the better, you know. So that's just the main thing. The main thing is I highly encourage you. If you guys haven't started investing, start, man. Just get started. You're missing out on a lot of gains, especially if you're in your 20s. I'm in my 20s, so like, hey, bro, let's get started. We young, man. We might as well just do this. You know, let's start investing early. You know what I'm saying? Let's not regret it later and look at our 30s like, man, if I had started investing in my 20s, how much money I would have. Like, you know, I'd be rich. I'd be, you know, all that. Let's not do that. Let's do the work early. Let's start investing while we're young. And yeah, man, let's do it, man. Appreciate y'all tuning into the channel. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel.